Yes, yes. I mean, thank God it's done. Like, I'm just glad this is over with. We don't have to worry about it anymore. The tight end position is perfectly fine now. Dallas Goedert signs a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll be talking about that and the tight end core in general. We're going to be talking about George Pickens going to the Dallas Cowboys in a trade. We're going to be talking about Justin Simmons because Brian Baldy just put out some news. So let's get straight into it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm Horowitz. Had a fantastic day today. This is a good day because yesterday a lot happened, and finally it's over. Finally, it's done. We don't got to worry about it anymore. The position is fine. The offense is pretty much set besides right guard right now, which will be a competition there. And Dallas Goedert gets his deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. 1-year deal restructured, $10 million with a $1 million incentive. Apparently he was due 14. The Eagles went to 10, the $1 million incentive, and the Eagles save about $4 million on this deal. So that's good. I'm just glad they brought it back, okay, because this has been really weary. But what was going on behind the scenes? Did the Eagles actually have some trade offers? Well, it looked like, yes, that there were some trade offers on the table during the draft. The Eagles didn't pull the trigger on any of those trade offers. And then the Eagles didn't draft a tight end, so things really started to connect where Ian Rappaport during the draft was like, yep, the Eagles kind of, they want, Howie Roseman wants Dallas Goedert back on this team. And finally it happened. Okay. This could be a way better tight end room than we expected now. Okay, because now with Kylan Granson, Calcaterra, the kid from the Raiders, so you have a lot of depth at tight end now. Potentially, if they keep 3 tight ends, I mean, Granson is a very good backup, could probably be the best backup we've had. He just, with the Colts, he really hasn't had a good quarterback through the years. Your whole tight end group is on a 1-year deal pretty much this year. Calcaterra is a free agent. Your free agents are going to be free agents after this year. And, Dallas Goedert's going to say his goodbyes after this year. So I didn't want this thing lingering into training camp where he was going to hold out because he wants a new contract. So it seems like that either Howie Roseman wasn't getting the compensation that he was getting, but I think more to it than that, because two sides really have to work out in a trade like this. Number one, it's compensation. And number two, I think was the biggest problem of trading Goedert is that teams don't want to give him the contract that he wants. If they're not willing to do that, he's just going to say, you know what, I'm going back to the Philadelphia Eagles, where I know they're, even if there's other teams that want to pay him what the Eagles just paid him, he'd rather go back to the Eagles. I mean, why would you go somewhere else with one more year left on your deal where you can repeat for another Super Bowl? So I think that's a pretty good payday. It took a little bit of a lesser cut, $4 million less. So he came back for $10 million, $1 million incentives, and now we're going to rock and load this thing now. So your offense is pretty much set. Right guard is really your only competition, but I'm just glad that Goedert is back. I think he's always wanted to be back, but at 30 years old and coming off a Super Bowl with one more year left on your contract, yeah, it's a little bit tough to kind of, you kind of want to get more money at that point while other tight ends are getting some good money out there. So this will probably be Dallas Goedert's last stop. And, we'll be talking about, him and, we'll be already set with this position going forward. So with all the competition behind him, now I feel like this room is really going to do really well. And very happy this happened yesterday. Couldn't say anything more about it, but welcome back, Dallas Goedert. And, I'm glad the two sides figured something out. So thought that was absolutely amazing. So good for him. Now we're going to be going over the Dallas Cowboys because they did trade for George Pickens for a 3rd-round pick. This is a good trade for the Cowboys because they really haven't had another number 2 receiver that was as good. And Pickens is the man. Okay. He's a good receiver. He's had some He's had some issues with his attitude, and I'm not just saying that for specific reasons, but I don't think a lot of players liked him. I don't think Mike Tomlin, the head coach, has liked him. We even heard that this trade went down because of Mike Tomlin, and they gave him away for a third-round pick. I don't know what the Steelers are doing. You get DK Metcalf, and now you get rid of George Pickens. I don't get it. I just don't get it. We know George Pickens has had issues with the coaching staff, with the ownership, with quarterbacks he's played with. He's one of those players that's not afraid to say certain things. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's a really bad thing for the media. And he's really bad for the media, unfortunately. So he's a third-round pick. Sorry, he's a first-round pick, okay? His cap number for the Cowboys on his last year of his deal is $3.5 million. So he is very cheap for the Cowboys, okay? This is a one-year rental at the end of the day. Okay, the Eagles gave up a third-round pick for Jahan Dotson, and he's here for 2 years. Okay, and obviously has helped us tremendously, even at the end of the year, especially in the playoffs, the Super Bowl, the few catches he had, absolutely amazing. Pickens is going to help this offense with Dallas, but I think their offensive line is in question. Their first-round pick is definitely in question. I think they totally reached for him. That Booker kid, that guard they picked up, I think it was a total reach. They don't have a run game right now. I mean, who's running the ball? Jadon Blue from Texas. I mean, he's a rotational guy. Miles Sanders, the kid you're picking up off of an injury from last year, forgot his name. It's a high rewarded type guy if, he comes off the injury well. I mean, they got no run game. Their line is still questionable. And Dak Prescott's coming off a damn injury with no run game and just got paid. So this move is just a this year type of thing. I mean, you got Micah Parsons still on his, isn't he not paid still? He's still on his 5th-year option as of right now. I mean, not even paid yet. Unless I'm wrong, unless I missed the news that he got paid. I haven't seen him get paid yet. You're not paying George Pickens on top of it. And let me tell you something, George Pickens has no loyalty to the Cowboys. He's just there because he got forced to get traded there. Okay. Got no loyalty. Is not going to ask for lower money to stay with Dallas, even if he has a good year. Okay. This gives Dak another weapon, and that's really the only good thing about it. I think their biggest miss of the draft was not getting Tyler Warren, was not getting an actual weapon for your offense. If they got a Tyler Warren, I think they would have been a little bit better there. So now CD has a counterpiece for him on top of, Jonathan Mingo and some of these other idiots that probably, that's good, are going to rotate, maybe start. I don't know what's going on with their depth. But that's where the Cowboys are. So realistically, what they did was they traded a 3rd-round pick for a 1-year guy that they're probably not going to pay, which is kind of weird. But it's the Cowboys, so I expect it to be weird in some regard with them, going forward. So low cap number, 1 year left, but, are they paying part? I mean, this is where it's going to matter. So we'll see how it goes. But I mean, yeah, sure, it got them better in the passing game. But is there promise and protection? Is there a run game that's going to support Dak Prescott coming off an injury? I have no idea, but it's very questioning. Okay. Lastly, this involves the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. Now, we heard news from Brian Baldy himself. Okay. Developing. Justin Simmons says he wants to come to Philadelphia and join the Eagles per Baldy NFL. Really? Quote unquote. He wants to be in Philadelphia. Just find him a house in South Jersey. He's going to be here. Okay. Now, Justin Simmons, the last couple of months, he was on a couple podcasts and was like, I want to join Vic Fangio. His most successful year was with Vic Fangio. Okay, maybe 3-4 years ago, this would have been a good opportunity to get him. He's 31 years old right now. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm not saying he's an elite player, but if he's a scheme fit type player, maybe it's not bad to pick him up. I really want Andrew Makuba to be a starter this year. Now, there was some rumors that they could get a bridge type safety to kind of put him ahead of a rookie, and then maybe Makuba will get the starting job later on or something like that. I don't know if it's going in that direction with that. But these older veterans are going to wait till after the draft and try to find a starting job. Okay. How much weight does this hold? I honestly have no idea. And from what I've seen and heard, I haven't there's nothing that been weighted to this. I mean, nothing has happened. I mean, I haven't heard one rumor of even some of the I mean, there's been nothing on Justin Simmons even coming to Philadelphia. But this might not happen now. This could happen. This could happen by training camp. This could happen by the preseason games. I mean, they like to make that late trade like last second or sorry, or free agent signing or a trade or something like that. They did it with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson before the regular season started when they traded for him from the New Orleans Saints. They did it with Jahan Dotson, obviously, right before the season starts. So they like to really make those late trades, free agent type signings right before the regular season hits. Um, I just think that our time with the Eagles is over with when it comes to picking up guys like this. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting younger. There's a lot of vets on this team, and there's a lot of young guys that are growing up maturely pretty fast, especially after a year that we had in 2024. So, I mean, I'm not the big fan of this move, but because you have Makuba, I don't mind it. I just didn't want the Eagles to get cheap and say, let's go out and get Justin Simmons or one of these bridge safeties out there. And obviously, you're getting the oldest one that's still available right now at 31 years old. So it doesn't bother me as much because now you have Makuba and Sidney Brown's already here. You're going to have a big competition at this safety spot. So, there's going to be competitions going on for depth and everything like that. So Justin Simmons coming in is now not entirely a bad thing, but it gives you a leadership, a veteran presence on top of the guys that he could be around and these rookies can learn from him. So this isn't a bad move. But as long as we had Makuba in the building or had somebody in the building, whether it was going to be Starks or Makuba or whoever was going to be here, that this was going to be the counterpiece to that if they wanted to add a bridge safety. So I'm not really into it, but if they did it, who knows? I mean, he's got a good relationship with Christian Parker. And he had his best year under Vic Fangio when Fangio was the head coach to the Broncos. You know what I mean? So some people say with the Atlanta Falcons, he was in a bad system. He didn't play too well last year, so he wasn't an astonishing safety last year. But sometimes when these guys are thrown into specific situations under a coach that knows how to use these guys, sometimes they play above their expectations. Like Nick Foles, he can't play anywhere but Philadelphia. Maybe this is a type of guy that's just like, I can only play for Vic Fangio in my career and play well. So I got to compare it to that a little bit. So we'll see what happens, but Baldy must, probably talk to him, or I know Justice Simmons wants to be in Philadelphia. We all know this. This is where I just wonder if the Eagles actually have contacted him or there have been talks. I don't know, but I guess we're going to find out on the start of training camp, through the preseason games. And like I said, he could be a late signing. You know what I mean? Keep him fresh throughout the, he won't play any preseason games. He'll stay fresh. He'll be ready to go. So we'll see what happens. But I think I'm getting more excited now because I think you're injuries can occur and you want to add more depth to a position. So if you add a Justin Simmons, you're going to have to kick somebody out. So if it's McCollum, you kick him out. You know what I mean? I think that's not the worst thing in the world either. I don't want a veteran to replace somebody that potentially could start for another team and then he leaves and then he's successful elsewhere. That's where you have to be careful when you sign veterans and they start cutting specific guys. When the Eagles start cutting players, I mean, that's it. I mean, you get rid of one guy, it's going to be one. The Eagles and every team in the league they're going to have like 2 to 3 guys they have to choose from to cut one of those 3. And it's one of the most harsh decisions. And with the Philadelphia Eagles, we know that Howie Roseman always has, I think, the final say of the last 2 roster spots. I'm trying to remember here if it's the last 2 or 3. It might be 2. I don't know. I have to recheck that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. This was awesome news the other day. Let me know what you guys think about the Dallas Goedert situation, getting his deal, and that tight end group is ready to roll. We talked about Pickens to the Cowboys. How do you feel about that? And we talked about Justin Simmons coming to Philadelphia. Is it finally going to happen? And do you feel more comfortable getting Justin Simmons since Makuba is in the building now? You guys let me know in the comment section below. And make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously. And make sure you subscribe because we come out with Eagles news every single day. We'll have some updates for the channel real soon. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, follow us on. Peace out, guys. Peace, peace. Peace.